Hello, and thank you for joining today's webinar, Unlock Your Marketing Potential, Conquer Marketing Dynamics 365 of Automation, presented by Cargas. Before we start, I would like to share a few housekeeping items. Today's speakers are Eric Gervais and Jillian Molina. Eric here has always been interested in helping businesses use technology to become more successful and efficient. As a sales manager for the CRM team, Eric does just that, working with local businesses to improve their software solutions so they can feel confident, grow faster, and focus on what they do best. Eric enjoys meeting new people and supporting them in their missions. He's even happier if he can help solve their problems. Jillian joined Cargas in 2021 as a sales and marketing systems consultant for a CRM practice. She has nearly a decade of experience in marketing operations at software as a service or SaaS companies. That experience comes in handy at Cargas, where she helps new and existing customers with their CRM, email marketing, and marketing automation implementations. So yeah, let's just get ready for the webinar.
Getting started here, quick agenda, 3 main topics that we'll be talking about today, covering the marketing automation landscape. So some great products out there in the market for D365 to utilize marketing automation tools, a bunch of different options there. Jillian's going to then go through how to overcome a bunch of different marketing automation challenges, both through conversation and through demoing inside of product. And then finally, I'm going to close us out with some advice for how to select the right marketing automation tool for your company to combine with D365 CRM. So let's get started here. So the marketing automation landscape. So the first thing that you'll notice is a lot of people are already using some level of marketing tool, and oftentimes that means a starting place for them would be to just do simple email delivery to customers. And a lot of times in D365, that means you're exporting data from D365 and importing it into tools like Constant Contact, MailChimp, and Emma to do your email campaigns. And that's a great starting place. In most of those tools, light automation is available, not full kind of marketing automation, but light automation. And but what does happen is that lack of integration with your CRM system causes you to be in an event-based marketing kind of world, which means that every time I think I want to do a campaign, I export data, import data, and deliver that campaign until the next time I think of that. So great for periodic campaigns, great for newsletters, and oftentimes that's the way people start in marketing in combination with D365. But what we're suggesting is kind of like a more dynamic and sophisticated solution, which is the marketing automation tools that we want to talk to you about today. So kind of taking the next step beyond just simple email marketing is tools like HubSpot, Dynamics 365 Customer Insights, which is the native tool connected in the suite of products. Click Dimensions and Act On are all great third-party tools that you could combine with D365 to get true marketing automation. So what does that mean? So what that means to us is that you can automatically segment audiences based on customer criteria. So instead of going through that process of exporting data from your CRM system and then importing it into your email marketing tool, you've got this live feed going back and forth between the two products. So if you've kind of set aside a criteria that this is all of my customers who we've done business with in the last year, a simple criteria, right? Your marketing automation system could automatically deliver messaging based on that criteria without you having to do that whole push and pull between systems. It allows you to be, as I call it, always on. So at all times, these campaigns are running, as opposed to this whole thing of like when I think of it marketing or event-based marketing. So you've got these things going on in the background. The other thing that it allows you to do, since it's not disconnected, since you've got one connected system between marketing automation and your sales platform, it allows you to track all the way from the campaign or the different web assets or different resources that you're kind of getting people interested from, to lead to opportunity, to closed opportunity. So you can see real effectiveness of your marketing campaigns, which ones are doing well, which ones are not for driving new customers. And then finally, we often talk, because of the name of the category of products, marketing automation, we often focus on the workflows and the automation that come out of marketing automation. But beyond the email and SMS automation, you've also got the opportunity to consolidate marketing tools into one place. So you can do your email, you can do your social messaging and listening on these platforms. Of course, you can do the automation, you can do SMS messaging, and you can do ad management from these platforms. So it's well beyond just the automation. The automation is one big piece of it, but it really allows you to have one place to kind of manage all of your marketing activities from. So this is a spot, if you guys wouldn't mind putting in the chat, curious if the audience is, one, already using an email marketing tool or a marketing automation solution, and if so, which one are you guys using? In the meantime, I will pass the baton here to Jillian.
All right, you'd think we'd be a little bit more used to passing the baton like that in a webinar. Yeah, hi everyone. Eric and Emily, let me know what responses sound like as they come in, but I figured I'd start just with a quick overview about marketing challenges. Marketing challenges that we see that our customers face and people are coming to us with questions about. So knowing you all have dynamics, theoretically, we're hearing these common challenges for, I only have dynamics, but I do not have a marketing automation solution. I do not have a connected, integrated system that assists me with my marketing efforts. So issues with segmenting the audiences. This is where marketers don't have a connected database to their CRM. They end up relying on exporting and importing lists from Dynamics to like a MailChimp or an Emma, as Eric mentioned. The issue with this is that it limits the accuracy of the lists. Those lists are only correct for that 10-second to 10-minute period that you export the list, and then 20 minutes later it's outdated. This slows down marketing efforts because marketing has to query the list in Dynamics, export it, import it into their system, and send a dedicated mailing list or a mail. This also doesn't allow for companies to learn how their marketing campaigns are influencing leads to become customers. This also limits the ability to react or proactively reach out to customers based on updated demographic or behavioral data. So somebody's job title might change, somebody's address might change, and you don't have that customer's data in the system because you're relying on just Dynamics, just what you're putting into Dynamics. You're not allowing somebody to fill out a form on your website and update their information as they explore content or engage with you online. So with the marketing automation tool that connects to your website and your online presence, you would be able to get some real-time data from your audience. The second scenario we hear a lot about is just the difficulty managing your inbound lead process. So a customer raising their hand and requesting contact from your business should be one of the easiest experiences for your customers and for you as a company. I often hear somebody's emailed in, somebody's called in, and it's a BDR or an admin team or responsibility to collect that information and disseminate it to the proper parties. That could take maybe like up to a day, hopefully no more than a day, but that can be a time lag. And in the meantime, your customer is waiting to hear from you. And so that's an easily repeatable task that a marketing automation tool could address for you. Third challenge is kind of touched on it, but measuring campaign influence. The fact that you're importing and exporting data means that your marketing team can't easily see where your leads are actually ending up. Are they becoming deals? Are they becoming closed-won deals? Can you tell which events are your most successful events to go to, like trade shows, and which ones aren't really worth your time? It's difficult to see what efforts you're doing actually lead to deals. And I think that's the key That's a key metric a lot of people are looking for. They need to see that return on investment whenever they have any marketing efforts, whenever they have any sales efforts. All right. Thank you.
Julian, should I hand the screen off to you? I apologize.
No, that's okay. In fact, I would rather you not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you could run the slides for me, I'll let you know, but that's perfect. So I'm doing a quick screenshot of, I don't know if me scrolling is scrolling for everybody else.
It's not.
Okay, good. So this is a quick screenshot of the Dynamics product customer insights journey, which was the artist previously known as Microsoft Marketing. Customer insights journeys is directly in your Dynamics account. It's using the shared Dataverse. So that means everything you see in your sales app is visible within Microsoft Marketing, and you can easily query almost anything from within marketing. So I think my example here is I'm creating a segmented list that I could probably create in the sales app, but as a marketer, I can do this myself. I'm looking at the preferred method of contact for the account is email. That means they don't want to be texted. They don't want to have phone calls. I'm looking for within any contact who's associated to an account in California, and the owning user of their opportunity is me, like Cargas in this instance. So those are like three different metrics I'm checking for, and that group too, if they've clicked on an email link in the past 7 days. So with this query, I'm trying to capture everybody who's been reading our emails and clicking on a link, who already prefers to be contacted by email as an organization. They're in California, and I own the opportunity. So I'm doing a little double duty here as a sales and marketer, but this is something that you can easily run to make sure that you're targeting as like very specifically for your marketing efforts. On the right side of the screen, you'll see kind of elements, attributes, behavioral, and segments. So attributes, you can look up to contacts who have certain activities, contacts who have been sent emails, contacts who have registered for events. You'll see that there's like you can do a secondary step, but you can go steps further. So it's really connected your entire Dataverse into one system so that you can target them for emails, you can target them for webinar events, or just a customer thank you message. Second tab I don't have here is just behavioral, but this goes into people who've opened emails, looked at your web page, looked at your product pages, things that you may want to keep on hand. So having this segmentation readily available means you're watching your audience, you're seeing what they're engaging with, and you can proactively reach out when you see kind of like key indicators or when you determine somebody might be a hot lead. So that might be super useful for you. The next slide, Eric.
If I could, Jillian, yeah, I'll jump you to the next slide in a second here, but just kind of making the connection. So you've got like Emma, Constant Contact, MailChimp kind of tools that you would try and run this same list, and it would be out of date so quickly. You'd have to run it all the time to actually do campaigns that are as dynamic as this. And instead, since those databases are connected, you're able to create a segment that is any contact that's in California that has an opportunity, that has clicked on an email in the last 7 days. And that just happens dynamically in the background. So that really speaks to that always on kind of concept, as opposed to you would never be able to pull off this kind of communication if you have disconnected systems, or you'd pull your hair out trying to do that. So anyway, yep.
Exactly. You never have that behavioral data, like the web page visits, the email clicks. That comes with a marketing automation connection to your Dynamics environment. And so this is kind of the HubSpot version of that segmentation we're discussing. So in HubSpot, it's not an exact copy of your Dataverse, but we do get a lot of information. You can hook up a lot of information. I think off the top of my head, I believe you can sync company records, contact and lead records, deals, which is the equivalent of opportunities in Dynamics, invoices, notes from Dynamics, and products. Maybe I said products already, but those are the elements you can sync. So within HubSpot, I can filter on like just contact, demographic, and behavioral information for the contact, but I can do a step further, kind of multiple steps further, depending on how much I'm thinking, where I can look up filtered criteria where the company has an open deal. I'm thinking deals or I'm thinking opportunities and accounts to HubSpot. That means I can query directly from HubSpot. I do not need to depend on imports and exports to get that information. And then being in HubSpot, you can certainly you can keep track of, are they involved in a marketing campaign? Have they been receiving marketing emails? Any events, page views is really valuable. So that's just the nice ability to segment and be directly connected.
Yeah, and I'll add, Jillian, thanks for that. I'll add that like D365 Customer Insight obviously has the tightest integration because it's inside of the D365 family of products and it is connected through Dataverse. What we found is HubSpot is able to do that segmentation pretty powerfully. It is an integration though, so it doesn't have access to all the data like Jillian said. But this is one of the areas that we struggled with Click Dimensions and in a lesser way with Act On, kind of getting multi-level segmentation. So being able to say this account, I want to market to this contact who's associated to this account that owns these products, right? That kind of multi-tier connection association was a challenge with other products. So we were able to accomplish that with HubSpot and D365. And of course, because it's D365 Customer Insights is part of Dataverse, you can also accomplish it with D365.
All right, give me a thumbs up, Eric, if you're looking at a HubSpot form. Okay, thank you. So we're going to do a quick demonstration of an inbound lead journey and follow this contact all the way through from HubSpot to Dynamics. And I'm doing it in HubSpot just because Eric will mention it later. HubSpot's really user-friendly, and actually it's really quick. The sync is really quick. I think it's maybe like on average around a minute to sync, and it might be a little slower because we're doing a screen share. But I just have a sample person. They're coming in through the website. This is just a quick HubSpot form that I can put up on the website. I don't need to deal with a developer, I don't need to deal with like any designer to create a form for me. As a marketer, I'm able to do it myself. So I'm just going to submit that. And what happens is that contact will automatically get set up in HubSpot to start with. They will have this is a workflow in HubSpot, and it's looking for anytime any form is submitted on any single page. For this example, I'm using our demo site. The only forms we have online are simple test demos. So what I want to happen is anytime a form is filled out online, I'm going to reach out to that contact owner, the person that got assigned the contact, and just create a task for them that says, reach out to that lead that is new to the system. So let me go and find that person who went through. And then if anyone's seeing HubSpot for the first time, this is kind of just the contact view, very similar to what you'd see in Dynamics if you're looking at contacts or leads. So Emily already came into the system. I can see that she doesn't have a contact owner, but I can see when she came through the system. If I open her up, her contact record, I can see, let's see, the domain she came through, her email address, the life cycle stage that was applied to her, how she came to the website. She came via direct traffic, as in I typed in a website form and pulled it up for this example. And I can just keep track of pages that person has viewed, or pages that person has viewed, and how many times that person has visited the website. So as this progresses, let's see, we're going to see she's already associated with a company based on the domain. And right now, I don't see any deal information because she's brand new to the system, but we want to take this over to Dynamics. So fingers crossed we can find her quickly in Dynamics. And if not, I have a different sample ready to go. Contact, new contact, and cool, she's already here. So I am going to take a look here in Dynamics. We see all the same information, but I can also, as a salesperson in Dynamics, I could take advantage of this HubSpot plugin, and I can see everything that would already exist in HubSpot. So I can see any form fill out information that she might have had, like a message or like a product interest she might have indicated. I can see in the timeline, I would see what pages she's seen, what email she's opened, if anything. So this gives you a nice window into all the marketing activities without making me go into HubSpot to check it. So that's great if you have a big sales team and a small marketing team and you just want to keep them in separate systems. So let's see, Emily, we've got, what I will do is just create a quick deal.
And while you're doing that, Jillian, so just kind of making the point here. So this is an example of using HubSpot as the marketing automation platform, right? Creating a web form through HubSpot. It connects, it passes that data directly into HubSpot. And then through the integration between HubSpot Marketing Hub and Dynamics 365 Sales, what very quickly Jillian showed you there is It came in, it assigned a lifecycle stage inside of HubSpot, and then it passed that contact directly into your CRM system, Dynamics, directly through the integration. So very seamless, very quick. It did that assignment and did that connection.
Yeah, so we've got a deal, an opportunity created in Dynamics, and as a marketer, that's a great sign. Like an inbound lead came in and they already have a deal. I might, as a marketer, suppress them from like emails, newsletters, because still on the sales side is talking to them actively, and you don't need multiple emails selling the same thing. So let's see, back here in Emily's record, we are not yet seeing a deal, but I'm not surprised because we're syncing online. So I have a other deal available. Oops, let's see. Here we go. Okay. So here's a separate contact in our system, Dina. Same in Dynamics in HubSpot. What I can do is see that she's got open opportunity, she's associated to companies. In HubSpot, I can reference that and have actions based on she's had a closed one deal. We can enter her into a new customer welcome series. In HubSpot, in Dynamics, I can just stay in Dynamics and enter her into like a customer journey, a customer welcome series. That's a good example of a way you would do what you might take advantage of. So under workflows, I can control a workflow from here, and I'm just going to do like a welcome series. So I'm going to enroll this person in a HubSpot welcome series, and back in HubSpot, I'll show you what journey gets kicked off just from an action in Dynamics. So in that new customer welcome series, I manually put the person into the welcome series, but I will send a series of emails where it's just a welcoming to them to our company, explaining what they can expect of us, how they can reach out to us. And I can have really a series of informational emails or create checks for my team to follow up with the person as appropriate. That was a lot of an inbound lead process, but just to recap, what we're doing is making sure that any relevant data that's coming in through your website is appropriately sent to the proper sales owner, the sales team, but you're also capturing where that lead came from, what they initially were interested in, and then seeing what comes of that deal, and if that deal, those deals that I showed you, end up with a closed won opportunity. Any campaign actions can be referenced back in HubSpot. So I can say, like, hey, our website is really good at converting deals, and people are finding our website, and we're meeting them where they need to be met. They're looking at our website, trying to solve a problem, and maybe the copy on our website needs to be updated so that we have an even better conversion rate for that form. Yeah, and HubSpot makes it really easy to take that campaign information and tell you really what's going on. So these are the ROIs we mentioned early on. Marketers and sales team really need to know what efforts are creating leads, converting them to deals, and creating new customers. So HubSpot, you have everything hooked up. HubSpot can see your deals and dynamics. It can keep track of all those sessions, which are like web page views, new contacts created by that campaign, contacts who maybe weren't created by a campaign, but did see that campaign and maybe took action on your whatever effort you're promoting, and then closed deals, like what deals actually were influenced by this campaign and how much revenue you can actually attribute back to a campaign effort, a marketing effort. I'll give you a quick one more time. Eric, you'll see maybe a fun little graph about influenced revenue. Yeah. So HubSpot's super user-friendly in regards to these reports. I think we talked about importing and exporting contacts from Dynamics to like a Constant Contact or a MailChimp. Just being able to see like email rates, click-through rates, and just campaign performance directly in HubSpot is really valuable information for an entire company. And I think might have a question for the next part. Yeah. So just, I think we had some questions that we maybe asked before, but this one is just, what communication channels are you using to connect with your customers? So are you sending emails right now? Are you using SMS? Are you meeting them on social media or just like LinkedIn or anything else? So I'll hand over to you, Eric, or I guess you already have it.
Yep. Awesome. Give a second for people to put some answers to that question in there. Appreciate the feedback. We've made our way through kind of what is marketing automation and showed you some examples of some of the challenges that people have when they don't have connected systems, when they don't have marketing automation. So how do you pick one, right? So I guess that's the last thought process of, there are multiple, as we've described, multiple different products out there that you can think about. And what are the things that we should be thinking about when we're picking a marketing automation solution, specifically for Dynamics 365? And the things that we think about when we try to help customers are, how's your team organized? What tech stack do you already have in place? And do you have a technology philosophy, best in class, suite, that kind of thing? User experience, both for the marketer who's using the software and for the customer who's going to be receiving communication and being interacted with. Overall customer support is important. How is the software company that is working with you going to support you through this process? Of course, you always have Cargas to support you as well, but also direct support is necessary at times. And then finally, of course, cost becomes a part of that criteria. So I referenced it shortly here, but when you think about team, tech stack, and philosophy, the first thing I think about is, would you consider this decision process being led by marketing or by IT? And also, do you have IT resources? Do you have deep IT resources? Or is largely this product going to be owned by the marketing team? If the product's going to be owned by the marketing team, oftentimes Dynamics 365 Customer Insights is a very technical product. So you oftentimes do need some sort of technical support. You can get that through a partner like Cargas, but if you want that resource or that expertise in your own team, Dynamics 365 Customer Insight is definitely a little bit more IT focused. Whereas the two products that we offer, HubSpot and Dynamics, this is how they kind of differ. So HubSpot is much more kind of easy to admin by the marketing team, not so technical, so you can own that a little bit more. And then, of course, another part of this thought process is, what other things do we do? Of course, if you're thinking about this and you have Dynamics CRM, do you use Power BI? Does your IT team, are they familiar with Power Automate? Do they use kind of the depth of the Microsoft platform? And do you have a Microsoft IT team internally? That might lead you to Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. And then finally, not everybody has this kind of philosophy, but are you picking products based on suite or best in class? Best in class would be, I'm going to pick whatever product makes sense for the function it's carrying. So in this case, best in class really points to HubSpot in that it is the leader in B2B marketing automation. So you're picking that product and then marrying it with D365 CRM. The suite approach would be more like, hey, I want kind of everything to live in the same platform. And in this case, D365 Customer Insights is the option that might make the most sense for you. So no decisions there, but this is the kind of things that you should be thinking about when you're picking a platform. The next thing to think about, and this is really important, what's the experience going to be both for your marketing team? We talked about this a little bit. What's the requirement for IT involvement? And then finally, customer experience. Like, are they delivering attractive landing pages? Is it easy to build those landing pages? Do you need access to technical support? All things you should be thinking about when you're creating or making this choice around your marketing automation platform. And then finally, this one is one that kind of cropped up specifically for a couple of the other marketing automation platforms, but all four products, HubSpot, Dynamics 365, Act On, and Click Dimensions, do have knowledge base available so you can learn about the products. So it's kind of like self-service support. The deepest of all four products is absolutely Microsoft and HubSpot. All four have ticket-based customer support. And then finally, I think where HubSpot really differentiates themselves, they're big enough to be a market leader, but they still feel kind of at a spot where they're not so big that they're not attentive to their customers. You actually have 24/7 support that includes calling. And of the four, this is the only one that really has that kind of level, as long as you have HubSpot Professional or higher subscription. So customer support has been a defining factor for some of them, and we've had a great experience with HubSpot. Microsoft tends to be a little bit more distant, and you're relying on us as the partner for support. So you don't have kind of that dual call Cargas, call the software publisher. With Microsoft, you really just depend on us. I'm not going to go through this. This is more for a resource for you if you guys are making a decision. But the biggest thing I'll point out on this summary grid, it's a lot of what we've already said, but that last row there about third-party development. All four have third-party applications that are integrated to them. Again, Dynamics and HubSpot are definitely the most robust third-party integration platforms. Other people in the marketing community that have software developing for those products and creating easy integration to those products. But I would say, hands down, HubSpot has the most diverse set of marketing tools that are associated with the product that are already integrated, that you just go up onto their app store and download an app and are able to use it as long as you already have access to that marketing tool. So when you want to use other tools, HubSpot tends to be the one that just, it's up there. You have it, availability there. And then, of course, the final kind of criteria that almost everybody thinks about, is cost. And I put just some general guidance here for all 4 products that we're talking about. This is by no means like kind of end of the conversation, implementation services vary. But on HubSpot, you're looking at about $15,000 in services. Dynamics is a more technical product, as we've already discussed earlier, which kind of drives the cost of getting it started up. So that one's kind of the heftiest lift on terms of implementation services, tends to start around 25. And Click Dimensions and Act On, in good and bad ways, are more plug and play. They're lighter lifts to get started. And all 4 of them kind of carry very similar subscription costs. So subscription actually probably is not going to be a driving force behind how you choose which product. As you see, I just chose 25,000 contacts as kind of like a spot for comparison. So your starting place, they all generally run in the $800, $750 to $1,000 range. But as you kind of grow your contacts that you're marketing to, they all kind of rise in very similar fashion. So subscription's not a big difference. I will note Click Dimensions actually doesn't do it by number of contacts. It actually does it by number of emails that you deliver, which is a difference, which makes it harder to compare that one.
In your experience, what are the key considerations for ensuring data accuracy and consistency across both CRM and marketing automation platforms?
Jillian, do you want to jump on that one, or do you want me to?
Sorry, could you just repeat that one more time, Emily?
Absolutely. So in your experience, what are the key considerations for ensuring data accuracy and consistency across both CRM and marketing automation platforms?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say knowing the source of truth for the data to begin with, knowing you're integrating Dynamics and either you're staying in Dynamics with Microsoft Marketing, or you're having like a Click Dimensions or a HubSpot, knowing where like the source of truth lays. Like I will always depend on a salesperson to update all the account information about a person. But if you're collecting product information, you'd want to kind of rely on the customer to provide that, whether it's through an online form or mainly through like online forms or just survey responses, things like that. It's difficult when you're doing like imports and exports for sure, because there's a lot of human error that can happen. You could import to a wrong column. The name could have different formatting issues. So I think the task of importing and exporting leads to a lot of human error, but it also makes you kind of have to prioritize how you clean up data. Like, do you have templates for all your imports and exports, and everything needs to adhere to a template? Do you periodically go into your CRM and clean up efforts? Like knowing which emails have bounced is really helpful. Knowing which emails have unsubscribed is really helpful, and making sure your CRM, your Dynamics instance reflects that. That should be probably like at least a quarterly task for admin teams, marketing teams, but just to make sure that the data you have in the database is cleaned up. So, Eric, do you want to add on to that at all?
I think you were the master of that domain. I don't think I had a whole lot to add there. That's why I punted to you.
Yeah. Definitely understand the human error part, because I think we've all been there many times. Another great question. So does the dynamic subscription cost take into account whether or not the sales portion of the CRM is already in place?
Yeah, that's a good question. I did call it out in the actual slide, and the slides are available post presentation. But the price that I put on that slide was actually assuming that you already own Dynamics 365 for sales.
Okay.
Well, it could be any application from Dynamics customer engagement. So it could also be customer service. It could also be field service. But in most cases, it's Dynamics 365 sales. You have to at least own 10 users in any of those 3 applications to start at $1,000 for the pricing. So there is an alternate price if you don't at least own So that is a good detail to capture. There's an alternate price if you don't at least own 10 users in one of those 3 applications.
Awesome. And then just last question, which I think is a good one for you guys. How do all the products you mentioned integrate with D365?
Yeah, so go ahead, Jillian. I'll let you start.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we went over how the Dataverse, if you're staying in Microsoft marketing, that's your Dataverse. You don't need to set up any field mapping. You don't need to set up like relationships between objects. It's nice that the Dataverse has all that information. The next step
if you're not a Microsoft junkie, Dataverse is basically the shared database that kind of lives on top of all the Dynamics applications. If you have Dynamics 365 for sales, Dataverse will know about all the data inside of your CRM, and then by proxy or by extension, Dynamics 365 Customer Insight would then know about all of that CRM data because of Dataverse sitting on top of it. They are separate applications, but Dataverse is kind of like the shared database that marries the 2 products together.
Everybody doesn't know about Dataverse?
No.
It sounds like something. Yeah. I would say that second layer is Click Dimensions is built right into Dynamics. So you have your sales app in Dynamics, you would have a separate Click Dimensions app. That's kind of the same experience you have with Microsoft Marketing. You theoretically have access to the Dataverse, but there is some setup involved to make sure that you get all your context into Click Dimensions and usable within Click Dimensions. It is still like a third-party add-on, so it's not quite. It sits in Dynamics, but it is not a Dynamics product. So that does add like a second kind of distance to your database. I think the Act-On would be like the next farther. Act-On, maybe Eric might be able to speak to Act-On a bit more.
I would put Act-On and HubSpot in the same category of a separate third-party application that is integrated to Dynamics. In that way, I guess the benefit of both products in that way is that if you ever decided Dynamics is not my CRM of the future, right? You want to change platforms, both you can disconnect and reconnect to another CRM platform that is also integrated. So both Act-On and HubSpot, for example, are also integrated to Salesforce. So if you were making a big philosophical change of what CRM system you wanted to use, that wouldn't necessarily mean that you'd have to change marketing automation platforms. You'd still have a system that could be integrated, whereas Customer Insights, of course, that's connected to Dynamics Sales. And Click Dimensions, because of the way it delivers itself within the Dynamics platform, it can't go anywhere else. So you have to be using Dynamics CRM. So kind of like a long-term management thing of your IT infrastructure, you could just turn off your Dynamics CRM and move on to another CRM, but your marketing automation platform could stay in place for both Act-On and for HubSpot. So that's an advantage. The challenge is you don't have access to as much data as you would if you were within the Dataverse as we were describing it. But the reason we got really bullish on HubSpot is because HubSpot's really been investing in that Dynamics and HubSpot integration, and some things that we found as challenges in the past have really become things that have we've gotten over the hill on the things, and we've got a really good plan of how to connect those 2 products together. So I don't know if that answers fully the question, but they are third-party applications that are integrated too. So that brings challenges, but it also has some positives as well.
Eric or Jillian, anything else to add?
I don't think so.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you both so much. That was awesome. And thank you, all of you guys, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. So right after this webinar, you guys will be receiving a short survey. So if you have the chance to fill it out, we would really appreciate it. Again, you guys will be getting a recording of the webinar about an hour or so after this. But we're also here to answer any questions, so feel free to reach out personally. I know that Eric or Jillian are more than happy to answer any questions here, or the rest of the Cargas team is here to help too. So thank you all so much and have a wonderful day.